Hey students, Mr. Dannahower here with the STEM Academy at Falls Ridge High School. I'm here to talk to you today about finding internships. So let's start off with why would you want to get an internship? If you've been in my classes, I have pushed internships a lot because I feel like they're super valuable for a lot of reasons. So what are some reasons why you should get an internship? Number one, compensation. You might get paid for your internship. A lot of our internships are unpaid, but you may have the opportunity to get a paid internship. Secondly, you can get elective credit for internship or work that you do through our work-based learning program. And so every 15 hours you spend at a job or an internship equates to one elective credit, as long as you do all of the work-based learning requirements for that. Now, those two things are great, but I feel like the next three are even more important. So the experience you get at these internships is amazing. And I want to give you an example. This is Bronte. She was interested in genetics and wildlife biology. And so she reached out to the National Wildlife Research Center here in Fort Collins and got an internship with a lab there where she was able to work with a lot of their equipment, testing DNA that was left behind by animals and their footprints in the snow. She's using, I believe, a nanodrop machine there, quantifying DNA and also determining the species of animal that came from. So these are the kind of experiences you might get in your labs, in your internships. You're going to get to work with equipment that you've never worked with before. You're going to get to do laboratory procedures that you have never done before, all with the guidance of your intern supervisor or people that you're working with in the lab. So the experience you get is huge at these internships, and you get to do a lot of things that most high schoolers don't do. A very small percentage of high school students actually do internships, and it sets you apart for many reasons. Um, I'll just say a couple of those reasons are getting connections. And so you are going to connect with professors and maybe graduate students who are going to work with you. And they could give you opportunities for more work in the future, other internships. They also may be a reference for you when you're applying for scholarships, other internships, jobs, and of course, applying for college. So doing these opportunities in high school really sets you apart from your peers. It shows that you're willing to go out and do something different and new besides just taking classes and being at clubs at Fossil Ridge High School. Also, a big part of internships, the thing that I like for students is it really helps them understand what they like and what they don't like. So you might think, oh, I want to be a veterinarian. And so you do an internship and you really figure out that's not what I want to do. That's what I did actually. I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian and I volunteered and realized that's not the job for me. But I also had some internships and opportunities that showed me what I love to do. And so finding out what you like and what you dislike really helps you as you're moving forward and deciding what colleges you want to go to, what you want those colleges to offer, what majors you might be interested in, and future careers. Finding out what you like and what you don't like can help you down the right path in the future. So, lots of benefits to doing internships. Okay, so not everybody is going to be considered for an internship, and not everybody should consider doing one. So here's kind of a list of a few things that I think are really important if you want to have a valuable internship opportunity experience. First of all, you got to be responsible. You got to show up. You got to communicate well. You need to work hard, have a strong work ethic. Students who show up to labs on time, communicate with their intern supervisor, and get in and get some hard work done, right? And ask questions and really engage in what's happening. Those are the students that we want in internships. If you're the kind of student who, frequently doesn't show up to class on time, or you take days off because you're just not really feeling like you want to go, you don't communicate very well, you don't have a strong work ethic, you won't be considered for an internship. You won't be recommended to one. So if you're considering that and you haven't had such a good year this year, maybe consider doing one next year and take some time to change your work ethic, your responsibility, and beef that up before you apply for an internship. Next, Make sure you're able to dedicate the time. We recommend around 120 hours for an internship, which is about 3 months, sorry, about a month of your time in the summer. A lot of internships occur over the summer because students have the time to do them, and there's less stuff going on in the labs often during those times. So this does not mean you have to do 120 to 150 hours. It just means we want you to have a really valuable experience. So spending 20 hours in the summer in a lab is probably not a very valuable experience. You're not going to have time to learn the equipment, do some research, experience all the things that they do in the lab. But that is flexible. And so it'll kind of depend on who you're working with, what lab you're in, and how much time they want you to come in. Next, you've got to be willing to learn. So take feedback, ask questions. You're going to have a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you don't know how to do. So you have to be willing to learn. And that might be learning from others, or it might be learning on your own. A professor might say, hey, before you work with this equipment, I want you to read the manual. You have to take that seriously. Also, you might mess something up in the lab. You might break something, or you might do a procedure wrong, and you're going to get feedback from the lab people. They're going to say, hey, you did this wrong. And you need to just take that and realize it's an opportunity to learn and grow and become better at what you're doing. It's not a failure. It's not saying you're a bad person. It's just saying, hey, I have a lot to learn. And be willing to ask a lot of questions. Also, be flexible. They may change your schedule. You might need to change your schedule. Communication is huge on that. As long as you communicate, flexibility comes through a lot of times. And so be willing to adjust your schedule, come in a little extra time if they ask you to, do some things that you weren't expecting you would have to do, like maybe cleaning some glassware to help out the lab, whatever that is. Just be flexible, keep an open mind. Lastly, please go into these opportunities remembering that you represent the STEM Academy, Fossil Ridge High School, your family, and your reputation. So, I've had a couple of interns over the years go into internship opportunities. They were all excited, and then things come up in the summer. They got busy and they just kind of stopped going. And that is terrible for our STEM Academy because those labs are no longer willing to take students back ever. So you might have an experience where you just rock your internship and they're like, we want more students to come back. So what you do in your internship does not just affect you, it affects our whole school, our academy, and future students. Please consider that in all the things that you're doing that are related to the STEM Academy and Fossil Ridge, but especially these internships. So now that you understand some of what we're looking for in students to have a good internship, let's talk about how do we actually find an internship. There's lots of options out there. Before I move forward, I wanted to point out this is a picture of some fruit flies. One of our students has worked in a lab at CSU doing fruit fly genetic research, and she was actually able to design some of her own experiments, and in that, she's actually getting published in a scientific journal for her research working with the lab people, which is a pretty cool thing as a high schooler. And then I had another picture over here from a student who worked on an English translation engine within the coding department. I guess it's actually electrical and computer engineering department at CSU as well. So these are both examples of internships that students have done in the past. So, for someone before you go on the next part of this journey about finding an internship, here's some things you need to think about. Number one, how much time can you commit? All right. I talked about that a little bit already. So, think about when can I commit time? How much time can I commit? Do I have vacations over the summer? Do I have sports over the summer? Are the things that are going to conflict with this opportunity? You need to know that before you start trying to find an internship so that you know what time commitment you can devote to the internship. Next, you need to decide, are you okay with an unpaid internship? If you're not, if you only want if you need to be paid, then that's going to limit your opportunities. And so think about that. Am I willing to work without the actual monetary compensation or not? Next, what do you want to learn? What are you interested in? I'm going to show you some documents to help you kind of focus in on that. But what's your passion? What are you excited about? And so then from there, we can start to pinpoint some places that would be a good fit for you. And how focused does it need to be? For example, uh, you know, Do you really just want to do coding? Is that all you want to do? And is there a certain language? Or are you just willing to learn more about code in general and how it applies to any situation? So if you really want a focused opportunity, again, you're going to be a little more limited. If it can be more broad and just in a certain topic area, that opens the options a lot more. So first, Zello. Zello is a good place to go. I'm going to show you here. By the way, before we get to Zello, this is a picture of another lab space in the engineering, the magnetics lab through the Army outreach program that Kara did a couple years ago. And she got to work with these huge electromagnets and do some testing of materials and things with those in her paid lab experience. To get to Zello to find some of these opportunities, you're going to go in and log into Zello. I'll show you in just a second. You're going to click opportunities. These are updated every week as more opportunities are added, and we see a lot more being added in the spring this time of year in March-ish. You have more paid opportunities here, but less flexibility with your schedule. So let's go to Zello. Oh, I already have that open. So let me show you how we get there. So if you go to Foster Ridge homepage, you guys should know how to do this. You should be using Zello. I know that a lot of people don't like it, but you should be doing all the activities because it'll give you opportunities. So we're going to go to students here. On the students tab, you're going to find the Zello link, and you're going to log in with your district credentials or Clever or whatever. Your dashboard's going to look different. I'm logged in as a teacher, so I'm going to go to view as a student. And so you should see something like this. Somewhere you're going to have opportunities on here. So I'm going to click on opportunities. This is what is updated on a weekly basis by our work-based learning coordinator, Ms. Tebow, with opportunities that come up. Now, this covers is not just for STEM stuff. This is everything. So you can see I've got plumbing, I've got conservation corps members, performing arts, all kinds of stuff. So let's say you can log in here and peruse these. If you just want a job in the summer, this is a great place to start. You're going to see some opportunities here, and they're specifically targeting high school students for these opportunities. Okay. Now, when you get to the bottom, I don't know why the paging is like this, but click on more opportunities and you can scroll down farther and see more. But let's say I want to filter this and I'm only looking for opportunities like apprenticeships and internships. So I'm going to click those. You can see there's other things, guest speakers you can attend, job shadows, paid, unpaid. So let's apply that. And now I see there's 22 opportunities that are either internships or apprenticeships. So let's scroll down. Okay, here, internship, veterinary internship. Let's check this out. This is an unpaid internship. It's in Wellington. You can see gives you some information here about what you'd be doing, and then what skills you need to have. Age is important. Make sure that you qualify based on the age. So you'd have to be a junior or senior. And I believe that would include sophomores who have finished up their sophomore year. So if you're a sophomore this year, 10th grader, you would be able to do this because you're officially a junior once you finish the sophomore year. This gives you scheduling. So a lot of information here. There's some training documents maybe attached. So if you're interested, let's say I was interested in doing this opportunity, I'm going to come up here and click request. And that's going to probably have me fill some information out. That request then goes to our work-based learning coordinator, Ms. Tebow, and she is going to follow up with you and help you apply basically for this internship. Okay. Let's look at another one. Here's the Army, the AEOP program that I was showing you, Kira. I did work with magnetism, and so let's just look at this one as well. So this is a $15 an hour job, right? Application deadline, make sure you follow those because like this one's coming up here pretty soon. I'm recording this February 22nd. If you miss that, you're out. Sorry, you can't get the internship. Again, more information. This one has a lot more information about what they're going to be doing in this lab. And then of course all the requirements and stuff like that down here. So this is saying 2 months, 300 hours, right? Can you commit 2 months of your summer? Do you want to for an opportunity like this? Okay, always consider that. Request if you want to do it, and Ms. Tebow will follow up with you. All right, so that's how we use Zello. Again, this is updated weekly. There are a lot of new opportunities that are coming up always. So pay attention to that. I would recommend you bookmark that, save it as a favorite website, and just visit it once a week, maybe once every other week. Okay, so Zello is one option. Another option is just checking in with Miss Tebow, our work-based learning coordinator. She has an office off of the Commons, and there's a big sign above it that says work-based learning. You could just go in there and let her know you're interested in finding an internship. You can tell her what you're interested in and how much time you can commit, and she would be able to potentially tell you some opportunities that are already available, or she might just tell you some opportunities that she's expecting to show up here in the next few weeks, and she would help guide you on that process. Very helpful. She can also help you with resume development and some other things like that. So use her as a resource, even if you're just trying to find a job. Anytime she's available to help you. Next opportunity or way you can find an internship is through reaching out to labs at CSU. You probably don't know this, but there are hundreds of labs that have professors running them with grad students, undergrad students, all these lab groups that are doing all kinds of different research to help advance our knowledge in science, technology, all that kind of stuff. So, if there is an interest area you have, I could almost guarantee you there's going to be a lab that's doing some kind of research in that area. A couple of examples. Here's Jordan. She did an internship at a CSU lab. I don't remember which one, but she was researching bee behavior and she got to do some of her own research with bees, which is pretty cool. She's in a bee suit here. Here's another one where a student, I believe it was Laurel, but I could be wrong. She worked with this device that recorded microwaves. And so microwaves are used for a lot of things, not just cooking our food. But this device was able to record, and then she was able to analyze and work with the lab to analyze the microwaves and help use those for scientific research. And there's a ton of other ones. So, like if you like coding, the School of Electrical and Computer Engineering is a great place to look. If you want to work on renewable energy or engines, we can look at the powerhouse and some of the labs that are doing research there. If you're interested in genetics, there's a ton of labs that are doing research with different kinds of genetics. So, whatever it is, you can probably find a lab. It doesn't mean we can get an internship in that lab, but we can try. So you want to discover, we want to do some research here. And then the process is looking, finding these labs and professors, figuring out what they do. And if you're interested in that, sending an email to that professor requesting an internship opportunity. I'll talk more about what that looks like in a little bit here. Also, you can network. So if you know people who work at CSU, like parents or friends of parents, that kind of thing, family, friends, reach out to them too and see if they're doing something that you're interested in. They're probably more likely to host you in their lab if they have connections with you and they know your reputation and stuff. I will tell you this takes time. This is a bit of a time intensive process, so you want to commit a good chunk of time. But the more time you spend researching, the more likely you are to find something that you're interested in. So let me show you how we do this. Let's just say I'm interested in, biomedical engineering. So I'm going to go CSU, biomedical engineering. Okay. And so now you're going to see, this is going to take me to the School of Biomedical Engineering. I'll click on this. And now I can see they have a whole faculty directory. This is where you want to go. And all the websites are going to look a little different. So if you go to the engineering and computer science one, it's going to look a little different. So again, you're going to have to do some clicking around and find the right spot. But I can come here to faculty directory. Right. And I see all these professors that work in these labs. And so it's a good idea to go into professors or associate professors and not like people who are support. Let's see, I'm trying to find somebody here. These are all professors. But if you see someone who's like an office person, that's probably not who we want to reach out to. Let's look at Sam here. He did some speaking the other day at CSU. I got to watch. Great guy, very interesting, great teacher. And so he is focused on actually mechanical engineering, which overlaps with biomedical, but it gives you a little bit of information about what he likes to do in terms of his research and whatnot. And so you can see here are some research interests that he looks at. And so let's say, okay, I'm really interested in I don't know, some of these, some topic that he likes to research. So I'm going to find his email, and I'm going to copy that information, and why I want to maybe reach out to him, and put it on my document, which I'll show you in just a little bit here. Okay. All right. Let's say, no, his research isn't what I'm really looking for. So let's go to, let's see here, Deborah Garrity, see what she does. Okay. So she graduated from Cornell, development of the embryonic heart. And so she's focusing on developing hearts, changing the heart, watching the heart as it changes, right? So I'm just reading this research and going, is that something I'm interested in, right? Is this something that I'd want to learn more about and potentially work in a lab where I get to learn more about this stuff? If so, okay, you can go in, find her email. Looks like here I'd have to copy the email from the email link. Also, I will mention, notice that she's the department chair. Department chairs are good people to reach out to, because they're going to know all the professors that are in the department, and they're going to be able to connect you with somebody who, is, doing research and what you're interested in, and might be available to host an intern. So department chairs are good to reach out to. Okay, let's go one more. So let's say, I was actually looking at computer science. So let's go back here and do CSU, um, computer science. All right, Department of Computer Science. Here we go. So we're going to talk about coding and networking and all kinds of stuff that's computer science related. Okay, so here we go. It's taking for a while to come up. Sorry. So they're going to have some just general stuff. Here's some projects they're working on. So you could always look at some of these, if you want to find out more about this college. But here we have faculty and staff again. Click on this, and this one's a little bit easier because we can see that these professors already have some information listed, right? So maybe you're really interested in software engineering, so you reach out to Professor Beeman, about software engineering and measurement with software, sensors, and those kind of things. So here again, we have his email. I'm going to put him down as a potential contact for a career or an internship that I'm interested in. And so again, just reiterating, some of these websites will have, it'll be easy to find the information you're looking for, and others you're going to have to do a little more clicking around and spending the extra time to find the information you're looking for. Okay. All right. So this is a great opportunity. We've had a lot of students do internships at CSU, typically unpaid, and we've made a ton of great connections with professors in different labs, who are oftentimes willing to have future interns come, because the interns that we sent to them did a really good job, demonstrated responsibility, strong work ethic, intelligence to some level, just from your background knowledge of classes at Fossil, etc. All right, other opportunities to find internships. Okay. Oops. Local businesses. You're less likely to find an internship at a local business, but you can try. And so Northern Colorado has a lot of tech companies, manufacturing companies, lots of places that do stuff in the STEM fields. And so this is again where you kind of have to go on this search, right? You need to look around. Give you an example here. So let's say, I wanted to find some tech companies or manufacturing companies in Fort Collins. Okay, I already had searched this, so I'm going to click that. And you can see I have several companies here in Fort Collins that do manufacturing. So let's see, I want to find out more about Tolmar here and what they do. They're a pharmaceutical company. And so if that's in my interest area, right, I could come here, go to their website, and reach out to them and see if they have any internship availability. So most websites, when you go to a company website, they're going to have, well, here's job opportunities. So you could see what they have there. But typically we can just go to contact and either complete the form that they'll have embedded in the website, or find the email and reach out. You may get bounced around a little bit on these, so you might only get a sales and marketing email, and you may have to say, hey, can you direct me to someone who could talk to me about internships available at your company? And so I can help you through those emails and whatnot. and support you in finding, companies that are going to be workable for you. Um, Here is Mueller. Let's look at another one here. Okay, so let's see what they do. Automation company in Fort Collins. All right, let's see what they do. Here's Mueller. Oh, so we've got some robotic arms we can see here about us. We can see what they do. Well, that's not really what I want. But this is going to tell you, right? Here's some of the stuff that we do. So you could look into that a little bit and see, all right, is this a place, do they do things that I'm interested in? If so, here's a contact email. We could put them on our list of potential contacts. So you can do this with anything. If you're interested in medical, you could do some research that way with local companies. I placed on my slideshow a really cool company that I got to tour last year called Powerline Century. This company designs and manufactures products to go on telephone poles to keep like birds from landing on them, from building nests, from getting electrocuted and that kind of thing. And so these are some from my visit. These are some of the products that they make, and they do a lot of their production in house. So they have engineers that do CADing. They have people on the floor doing the manufacturing, 3D printing, all kinds of stuff. So there are lots of companies like this out there. You just have to find them. And again, it's probably more likely that they'll say no if you ask for an internship, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So reach out. So let's talk about, how do we reach out to these companies? What does the communication need to be like? Please take this seriously, because again, you are representing yourself, your reputation, your family. You're representing Fossil Ridge and the STEM Academy. And so please think about when you're reaching out. So writing an email, make sure you spell check things, make sure you run it by someone to make sure your grammar and all that kind of stuff is correct, because we don't want to close doors on internship opportunities just from not taking the time to do professional writing. Okay. So first of all, when you're doing this communication, first do your research. Make sure you've looked. What does this professor research? What does this company build or make or do? Because when you write this email and you introduce yourself and say, hello, I'm Sam and I'm a member of the STEM Academy at Fossil Ridge High School. Now you want to tell them why you're reaching out. I noticed in your lab you do research on artificial heart valves, and I'm very passionate about biomedical engineering and how we can use that to change the future. Right? You're showing that you've done your research and you're really interested. If you just send a professor an email that says, I'm blah 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 from STEM Academy and I'm looking for an internship opportunity in your lab, they're not gonna respond. They're gonna delete your email probably, because it's not really showing your level of interest. So make sure that you show you're excited to learn more about their lab and potentially get an internship. Okay. Also, be really clear about what you want in your communications. So let them know, here's when I'm available. I can do this in the summer, or I could start before summer, or I'm only available for 3 days a week or this many hours. Or maybe let them know, there's a few things in my schedule that I have. So I want to make sure you're clear up front that I'm not available for these weeks when I'm on vacation. Whatever it is, just be really clear and open about what you can do, what you want to do, what your skills are, and those kinds of things. Okay, that's important. Also, offer flexibility. So, make sure you tell them in the communication, my time is flexible if it is. Be honest about that. If payments thing, you can mention that I'm fine doing a paid or unpaid internship, whatever works for your budget in your lab. So be flexible. Also, let them know I'm willing to do lots of different kinds of jobs, whatever the lab needs. This is important too. Make sure you network. And so what I mean by that is, like, when you end your email, don't just say, thanks for your time. If you're unable to have an internship, me for an internship, I understand. Instead, end your email with, if you're unable to host me as an intern in your lab, can you recommend anyone else doing similar research or in a similar lab setting that I might be able to connect with? All right. So that opens the doors, and because you're asking them, they're probably going to be able to easily shoot you back a few names that you can reach out to. Also, you need to have a resume and references already prepared. And so that's a really important part. And I'll talk more about that later. But anytime you email, you're going to attach your resume with your skills, abilities, all of that kind of stuff. So they can look at that. And that's going to help them decide if they want to reply to you and say, yeah, we can talk more. Or if they're going to say, no, thanks. You don't have the skills needed to be in my lab. And references, of course, too. Those are good things to have. A couple of other internship requirements before I show you some of the other documentation in Google Classroom. Please, please, please communicate with me all the time. Even if you decide, like, I'm just going to go out and find an internship or job, whatever, on my own, it's really helpful for me to know who is applying where and what's going on in the background so that we don't double up on labs and communication and overwhelm professors with emails and that kind of thing. So please just keep in touch with me on all this process and CC me on every email that you send. If you're replying back and forth and you just reply all, that's good. I want to be in the loop on every step of the process. So, also, you need to complete the work-based learning paperwork for a couple reasons. Number one, that's how you get credit for your work-based learning hours. Also, employers like it when you do the work-based learning program because it provides insurance through the school district. So a lab coordinator at CSU might say, well, we would have a student come in, except for if something happens to them, then there's no insurance, and we could be liable. But when you go through the work-based learning program, the district provides you with insurance, and lab people and businesses, they like that because it takes some of the responsibility off of their shoulders. So you should always complete that. Also, you'll need to document your hours and what you do. So you'll keep maybe just a Google Doc or something where you just write down, you can do it once a day, once a week, whatever, and just write down how many hours did you work and what kind of things did you do during your lab experience. That can be fairly informal, but it does need to be documented on a regular basis and shared with me. Next, your employee evaluation. So all interns will have a short evaluation. They'll give that to their supervisor, which is usually like the lab coordinator or the boss of the company or whoever is supervising you. And they'll just give you some feedback on how your internship experience was from their point of view. And that can help you learn and grow and become better in different aspects of your personal endeavors. Lastly, I'm going to ask you to create a short presentation and potentially come and show that to other STEM students so they know what kind of opportunities are out there. Again, this isn't really long. These are short. If you've been in my classes, you've probably seen a few people come in, and so you'll know what that looks like. Let's jump over here to Google Classroom. You can see here, I have a Google Classroom set up for 2024. If you're watching this after the spring of 2024, it'll probably look a little bit different, and obviously the class code won't work, but spring of 2024, you can use this class code to join this Google Classroom. And let me show you a few things on here. So first of all, I placed a few documents just kind of overviewing things that I talked about in this video, but there's a few other things in here, so you can look at that. It also gives you a timeline of what should be done when. And so we want to make sure that if you're really interested in this, we need to get going on it in March and be reaching out to professors. And then in the April area, kind of finalizing and getting hours and schedules set up. And then your internship starts in the summer typically. Also, please, please, this is the main way that I know that you're interested in an internship and I'll be in touch with you is by completing this form. It's really short, it's simple. All it does is let me know what interest area you have and what questions you have. So please complete this. If you don't complete this, I'm assuming you're not interested in getting an internship through the STEM Academy, and so I won't be communicating with you unless you have completed this. Right? There's usually some questions that come up during the internship, like process here, and so please put those in that form, or you can shoot me an email. And some of the past questions that I've heard from people are answered here. And if those don't answer your questions, please ask more so I can continue to update this with more information that you guys want to know about. Next, this is a document that I'd like you to create a digital copy of, finding an ideal internship. And this is going to walk you through the process of finding some potential contacts, right? So what do you want to do for your internship? Check Zello. go through the CSU stuff, all right? Check local businesses. You don't have to do all of these. If you find exactly what you want on Zillow and that's what you want to do, you don't have to do the other ones. That's fine. But the more contacts and potential opportunities you have, that's less work you have to do later in case some of those fall through and you need to keep going to other options. So you're just going to fill this chart out for each name, company name or lab name or whatever it is, put that here. A contact email's fine. You don't really need a phone number. And then the lab that they are, or business, and maybe a little bit of information here about why you're interested in this one. So this lab does research on artificial heart valves or whatever. So this is really kind of here are my top places I want to reach out to. That's the purpose of this. And feel free to edit this. You can add rows, right click, insert a row below, whatever, and add columns if you want to, or do this on a separate document, whatever works for you. I'm just trying to give you some structure, but I don't really care how you go about doing this. I just want to see that you've done some research. Then we're going to draft an email. So I'm going to give you some guidelines here, right, about what you should include in that. You're going to draft it here on this document, or if you want to do it on a separate document, that's fine. And then you'll go ahead and submit that to me, this document to me, through the assignment submission, and let me know you're finished. And that will kind of be one of the first things we do. I'll look at that email. I will make suggestions and edits. And then once it's nice and once it's great, we'll send it out. Okay. Obviously, if you're doing something through Zello, you don't need to do this email. You're going to do the request button like I showed you earlier. And lastly, some information on resumes. You do need to attach a resume anytime you send an email. And so this is just some documentation to help you. Please, before you send an email or a resume with an email, please have me review this for you. Okay, I've seen so many bad resumes. So please let me or Ms. Debo take the time to just go through it and make sure it looks good and make suggestions. So that your resume is in good shape. And you can just use the one that you created in class if you have that. You can use that as a base if it works for you, and you can just update that with new information. Okay, well, I will be sending an email to all STEM Academy sophomores and juniors in the near couple of days here. You can watch for that. It'll include the code to join this Google class and just a few bits of information to kind of get you started on this process. Also, I will be hosting a couple of lunch meetings over the next couple of months, just supporting you in this process, so we can talk one-on-one if you need to, work on resumes, work on emails, finding locations, that kind of thing. And I'll post that in the announcements of Google Classroom and let you know when those are. So at least sign up for the Google Classroom if you want to, if you're considering an internship. All right, last one I'm going to show you is the STEM Academy website, because on there is an internship tab. I'm pretty sure you can just get here by Googling STEM Academy, Fossil Ridge High School, and it should come up. If that doesn't work, then let me know and I can shoot you an email. This has a bunch of stuff about the STEM Academy, but there's a tab here on internships. So it talks a little bit about those internships and then gives you some examples. I haven't updated this as of February 2024 with any of our recent internships. So I will be doing that. You'll see some more come up, but these just give you a few ideas, right? Again, you can see a lot of CSU opportunities, and you can click on these. They should come up with some information and pictures, so you kind of see what stuff people did on their internships. Okay, I think that's all I have for you today. Please reach out with any questions, get into that Google Classroom and start looking for places and working on your resume. I'm here to help, happy to help out. Thanks for watching, and Go Ridge.